Hello, welcome to our app, GBay, a better marketplace where one man's trash can become another man's treasure. Created by Arjun Kunhiraman, Abhiansh Parwal, Michael Fort, and Vanamali Dhurvaas.
Let me ask you a question. What if buying and selling online didn't mean dealing with bloated websites, sketchy buyers, or outdated interfaces? Let me introduce you to GBay. GBay is an app where you can buy and sell items from the comfort of your own home with speed, clarity, and control. GBay supports two distinct user roles, buyers and sellers, each with their own dashboard. Sellers can add items to sell, while buyers can browse by name or category. Communication between users is made possible through a built-in messaging system, and all interactions, from listing to transactions, are securely stored using file-based persistence. GBay supports two distinct user roles, buyers and sellers. The buyers can search for any item they want and instantly message the sellers to purchase the item. With just a few clicks, the sellers can list, edit, and manage their inventory, appealing to customers and selling whatever they want. One man's trash may be another man's treasure. Transactions are tracked, everything is persistent, nothing gets lost. And it's all wrapped in a clean, intuitive interface that makes GBay incredibly easy to use. This isn't just a concept, it's a fully built, functional, and ready to go app. We've designed it to be modular, secure, and scalable, whether it's casual users trading items or serious sellers managing inventory. GBay gives users complete control with none of the friction. And best of all, there's no ads. If you're looking for a smarter way to buy and sell, you're looking for GBay. The behind the scenes of creating GBay were very extensive. We started by defining a set of custom interfaces which allowed us to cleanly separate responsibilities and ensure consistent behavior across the application. We then implemented these interfaces in concrete classes such as user manager or account functions. The app runs on a client-server architecture. We built GBay Server to manage all backend operations. It uses multi-threading to handle multiple connections at once. The client connects through GBay Client, which sends requests and receives responses. All data, user accounts, item listings, messages is stored in text files, ensuring persistence even after shutdown.
Throughout the development of GBay, we tested each and every phase of the project to make sure that everything worked correctly and reliably, exactly how we wanted it to, from the early logic all the way to the final user interface. In phase one, our focus was on the core functionality of the marketplace. So things like item management, account creation, and role-specific operations. We wrote automated JUnit tests to verify that key features like adding items, deleting items, or exiting menus, all of this worked as expected and didn't crash with invalid input. These tests help us catch edge cases early on, especially around user interaction through the console. In phase two, we introduced the client-server architecture. So in phase two, we shifted to a more manual testing process. We simulated real-world use cases like multiple users logging in at the same time. For example, we tested concurrent logins by running two clients and logging them both into the same account. The server successfully blocked the second login, and this confirmed that our multi-threading logic was working exactly how we expected it to be. We also tested message persistence by sending a message and then after sending the message, restarting the server, and then after restarting the server, verifying that the message was still there afterwards, so after restarting the server. And after we restarted the server, the message we sent was still there. And this assured that our game was efficient and actually worked. In phase 3, we built the GUI. So our testing in phase 3 focused on real-time user interactions. We went through every single screen, logging in, browsing items, editing listings, deleting listings, sending messages, etc., etc. And we made sure that each action connected properly to the backend. We also checked that the GUI responded with helpful feedback when users entered invalid inputs, and that nothing broke during normal use. By combining automated unit tests, manual simulations, and full GUI interaction testing, we were able to confidently verify that GBay performs reliably across all phases and behaves just as we expected in realistic use cases.
Welcome to our live demo of the GBay app that we created. So the first thing you want to do is run the server. I'm already in the server, the GBay server right now, so I'm just going to click run. And this may take a second, but once it has successfully run, you'll see that the items have been loaded and initialized, and the GBay server has started on port 4242. After you confirm that the server is running, you head over to the GBay client GUI, and you run this at the same time while the server is still running. And once that is successfully run, it will transport you to the GBay app. In here, we're going to create a username and a password. If I try to log in, you can see that there's an invalid username and password, and that's because I don't have an account with GBay yet. So if you get this pop-up, you can click OK to create the account. And now you can see that the account was successfully created for me, Vanamali Dhurvaas, and I can now log in. So now I'm going to retype my account name as well as my password, and I can log in. And here is the marketplace homepage. So you can see a list of multiple items that you can purchase on GBay, and you can see the buttons that we created for the home, the messages, the sell, category, and account, as well as the inbuilt search feature for the marketplace homepage. You can search by name and the category. So for example, let's search by the name. Let me search for phone. If I search for phone, since iPhone 11 has the word phone in it, it'll show us the phone. And this, since this is the only option, we can see that this is here. We can also search by categories. So let's search for, let's stay in the same zone, electronics. And you can see that multiple electronics now pop up. And since we search by the category, since all these items fit in the same category of electronics, they all show up. And if we click on one of these, we can see that we have the option to purchase. Since we don't have funds right now, we can't purchase, but I just wanted to show you that you can do this. So let's go back home. Now, let's go to our account page. In our account page, we can currently see our username, and like I said before, we don't have any balance in our account right now. So the current balance is $0. So let's deposit some funds. Let's deposit $5,000. Once you press deposit, you can see that the deposit was successful, and there's a new balance of $5,000, and we get this pop-up to notify us. Click OK. Now, if we go home, and let's say we want to buy this laptop, we can click yes, purchase. And you can see that we have successfully purchased the laptop, and it shows us our current new balance. Let's click OK. Now, let's say we want to sell an item. So let's put the item name that we're going to sell. In this case, let's say we're going to sell a table. And let's set the price for this table at $300. The category will be in furniture. And the condition is new. And we can choose an image, which is optional, and for now we will not be choosing an image. And we can list the item. The next thing we can do is search by categories. So as you can see here, you can search by categories on the home page, or for easier access, if you want to see all the categories available to you, you can come here and you can click on each category and see everything that is listed within the category. And in furniture, you can see that our table that we put is listed here. Now, let's go to the messages. So you can see that there has been no received messages so far for our account. And for the sake of messages, we are going to log out now. And we are going to create a new username account to demonstrate how this works. So we're creating the username Arjun instead of the password. Let's create the account. Now let's log in. Now let's go back to messages and let's send a message to our original user. Let's say, hi, this is a test for messaging. Now let's send the message. So now if you go to the account and you log out, and I go back to my original account on my Dhurvaas, you can see that I've received a message from Arjun at this time, May 5th at 12:35 p.m. that says, hi, this is a test for messaging, which is exactly the message that we wrote in Arjun's account. So that is pretty much the demo for our account. For our GBay app. Thank you for watching.
Question 1. Who is your target market? Our target market is mainly students and casual users who want a simple, local way to buy and sell items without using a large, cluttered platform like Facebook Marketplace or eBay. A good example would be students on a college campus, people looking to sell textbooks, electronics, or furniture to others nearby. GBay is lightweight, easy to use, and avoids all the noise of big platforms. There's no bidding, no ads, and no algorithms, just direct person-to-person transactions. It could also work well for smaller communities or local networks where trust and simplicity matter more than nationwide reach. Because we've built in messaging, account control, and persistent data, it's ideal for environments where users want quick, reliable interactions without overcomplicating things. Question 2. How scalable is GBay? Could it support more users or data in the future? Right now, GBay uses basic file storage to save things like accounts, listings, and messages, but we designed it in a way that would make switching to a real database pretty easy. Most of the data handling is done through classes like item functions and user manager, so we'd really just need to change what those classes do behind the scenes, without rewriting the rest of the app. Also, since the server handles multiple users using threads, it can already support multiple people using the app at the same time without any issues. If we wanted to take GBay further and support a lot more users or host it online, we could upgrade the storage system and expand the back end without starting from scratch. The core setup is already flexible enough to handle that. Question 3. How do you prevent users from abusing the system? We've added several layers of protection to keep GBay stable and secure. First, we implemented account authentication. Users have to log in with a valid username and password, and each username has to be unique. If someone tries to log in with an account that's already in use, the server will block the second login. This helps prevent any issues like session hijacking or multiple people accessing the same account at once. On top of that, we've added input validations to catch bad data before it can cause any problems. For example, when a user adds an item, they can't enter a negative price or leave a name field blank. Search terms are cleaned up before being processed so that any typos or weird characters won't break the search. If any input doesn't match the expected format, the system shows an error or prevents the action from going through. We also made sure that all of the important data, like user accounts, item listings, and messages, is stored using persistent file I/O. So even if the server shuts down or restarts, nothing will get lost. That's especially important for messaging because we want users to be able to log in later and still see their conversation history. All of these checks, from login blocking to data validation to persistent storage, help make sure that the app works the way it's supposed to, no matter what kind of input it receives.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you enjoyed hearing about GBay.